Hello and welcome to the Two Robbies Podcast, your destination for in-depth discussion and analysis of the Premier League. I'm Robbie Mustoe, he's Robbie Earle, and here are today's topics. Manchester City put the pedal down in the second half and swept past Chelsea 3-0, putting pressure onto Arsenal, who continue to crumble in the title race following a 2-1 loss at home to Bournemouth that leaves Mikel Arteta's side scrambling for form. And Roberto Zerbi's first match in charge at Tottenham Hotspur ends in defeat as the impossible nightmare of relegation begins to become a reality. That's what we have coming up in today's episode.
Well, mate, if we want drama, I'm telling you, this Premier League just keeps delivering for us week on week. I know you had a week off and you've got an eye on the Masters Golf coming up later today, but we wanted to get this podcast in because it could, Rob, be a seismic weekend in the destination of the Premier League title. We won't know till the end. But should we start at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge? It's our latest game that we saw this afternoon. Manchester City going to Chelsea, knowing that Arsenal had got beaten 2-1 by Bournemouth the day before, knowing that they cut the gap to 6 points with a win at Chelsea. It wasn't a given. They go to Stamford Bridge. We know that Liam Massini and his team can have days, can have moments. But they got the job done in efficient style. Second half, just put the power on Rob and blew Chelsea away. Clean sheet, 3 goals, 3 points. Pep's purring.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, it was more than got the job done. It was an emphatic statement of readiness, of desire, determination, excitement. I mean, Graham Mustoe talked about it in the commentary, Rob. The juxtaposition watching this weekend Arsenal play and Man City play with the free-flowing nature of Man City, the carefree football, the lack of any inhibitions at all. It was stunning, and everything seems to be coming together. I mean, I'll be the first to say, Rob, that I think probably a few months ago now, I remember saying on the podcast, City aren't winning this year. They haven't got the mentality. And this is probably back in December. When you look back, Rob, they'd lost 4 games. They lost 4 games by mid-November, Man City. And just looking like their new players weren't settling very well. The way that this is coming through now with the new players settling and looking amazing, Ryan Shirky and everybody else, and the centre-back partnership Rob we saw today of Kusanov and Mark Gahey looking super comfortable together. Through the midfield of Rodri looking back to his best. I mean, this was an outstanding performance from Man City, Rob, and 2 of their best players had quiet days, Erling Haaland and Antoine Semenyo. Yeah. It's telling you everything you need to know right now, and maybe I think you're probably not. You're less surprised than I am how they've turned this around to this point where they look like they're absolutely purring. I didn't see it a few months ago, and I hold my hands up because the way that they're playing now. And the way it's looking, the fluid nature of the football, the dominance, the swagger, it's amazing to see.
When you sort of talk about the contrast, because I think that is the Starkey thing, and I was saying, with Arsenal, it's not, and we'll get to them, it's not just, the nerves and the jangling. I say it's the football's not good. Yeah. They're not playing good football. And does that, Rob, come down, how much that is player-led, driven, and how much of that is manager-driven and environment and maybe know-how? Because we see good Arsenal players, but there's an inhibition about them. There's a tightness about them.
Absolutely.
Now, does that come from the manager who's known what it takes to loosen a team up? Like, it's interesting, Rob, because there was a bit of thought, and I came and said to Bex this morning, I'm just a little bit awkward when Mikel keeps revving these games up. Have your breakfast, bring your lunch, bring your dinner. The roll call, and everybody's like, whoa. I know it's a bit. Mikel, you don't have to tell me. I've got radio. I live in the world. I've got social media. I know it's a big game. I kind of feel like revving it up is inhibiting us even more.
Yeah, it's a good point, Rob. You sort of asked a question and answered a lot of it there. I think it does come down to know-how. I think we spoke about this before. I mean, Arteta, bless him, he wants it so badly, Rob. This and he's trying to put that onto the players. Come on, we want this so badly. I mean, they want it so badly, and it has to come. I mean, I'd love to be able to speak from a position of experience.
Can you want it too much, Rob?
Well, that's what I think. That's what I'm going to go. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because Pep's done it before, and he's been in these races so many times. Rob, how many races has he won? Yeah. Narrowly at the end. So he knows how to, it seems, prepare his players and create, as you said the word earlier, Rob, an environment that's conducive to finishing strongly. The data and facts says it is Aprils are outstanding. They've won an amazing percentage of games, and it has to come down to that. We'll get to Arsenal. But the way that he brings his team to the boil, and this one has to have been harder than others. This is right into the Champions League, Rob, right? So they're out of the Champions League. Yeah. I feel like it's not until like this last week or two that they've kind of, I don't know, they've got above the water. Like here we are, this is us now. Because they were stumbling, they weren't quite right. You know, different players in different spots. It's all coming together only these last couple of weeks, and that's an awful look or a sign for Arsenal that right now, Rob, my bottom note on the City game is they look like a win every single game. Every single game.
He said that in his presser, Rob, I think on Friday, that we're going to have to win every game. He feels they're going to have to win every game.
Well, the way that Chelsea are they're not, I know they're having a bit of a bad run, but they're not a bad side. And my goodness, the hunger they played with and some of the players' performances from Man City, they're looking really grooved, Rob. And it's a word that I've used about City for years now. I haven't really used that this season much. I feel, again, these last couple of weeks, they're looking as grooved and as comfortable. O'Reilly that goes from left back into that inside left forward. Before he scored a goal, Rob. He was all kinds. He's a constant threat on that inside left, getting to the byline, pulling balls back. If the ball's on the other side, he gets into the box as he did with this goal. He is an outstanding threat through on that left side.
Oh, without doubt. And Doku, playing wide on one side, Cherky. It's interesting, Rob, that we had Gary Neville. I don't know if you saw, he came on and talked and spoke really well about what it takes winning titles and the feelings and gestures. And obviously, he's a man, I think he's got 8 of them, so he knows as much as anybody, Rob. But it was interesting because he talked about that know-how. When he won his first title, he said, I was surrounded in a dressing room with people who'd won it, who knew what it takes, with coaches, with managers, with players. I thought it was a really strong point. But I also then pointed to a point that I remember in our podcast early, and I know you were looked down on City in early days, just saying it doesn't look like the hunger's quite there, and they're not going to be able to have that fire in the belly, and to go again might take another year or a couple of years. And it was interesting today because it was the first time I thought to myself, we did a little piece on Kuzanov, who's as you said, just starting to come really to the fore, and it kind of made me think, Rob, that yes, it's great to have all those winners, but it's also good to have 2 or 3 who haven't won it, who are hungrier, who don't know what it takes, who are desperate to, get there for, they've won the League Cup now as a group, but, win their first title. So I think the Semenyos, the Cherkys, the, Kuzanov who's just come into things, the Reinders, those kind of players also bring something else to that dressing room that helps those who've won it all for all those years.
Yeah, it's a freshness, Rob, isn't it? Yeah. There's a freshness and excitement and a desire and a wide. They walk in that dressing room and they're wide-eyed about, right, this is how amazing is this to win a Premier League title. So that, I think it's an interesting point to mix with those that have won it a little bit. Some of the performances, Rob, like when you think of Ryan Cherky, right, and this is a good example of what we were talking about the last few minutes, where he came in, remember his first game, he came on, looked $1 million, and we're like, wow, this player. And then he wasn't doing the things that Pep liked him to do. And maybe that's still the case in certain circumstances. But talk about a player, Rob, that I think he's just turned 22 or he's recently 22. I mean, he had a little 15-minute spell there. The 2 assists were world class. Yeah, I mean, what a talent he is, Rob. I would pay money. He's one of them players. His ability and he is so two-footed. Yeah. It's scary. I mean, he's an amazing player.
The point to that, Rob, and I think we talked about in the studio was there's not one player in Arsenal who could play those passes at this point. They're not in that kind of form. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's a difference.
That's the difference right there. Yeah. It's chalk and cheese, mate, in terms of creative football and progressive playing and creating opportunities and penetration. I mean, Pep's a master at it. And again, we'll get to Arsenal in the next chat.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to talk about them as well, because it's important. I mean, it's probably important to say as well that they're not strong defensively as Arsenal. Between now and the end of the season, Rob, as you and Tim talked about, there might be a game where they mess up. And if they mess up, they let goals in, which they've shown us they can do, then they might blow it. Well, not blow it, but they might lose the chance to win it. So that's their. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a slam dunk title for Man City, but it is very stark the way that these two teams are doing it so differently.
Let me just go back to your one piece on Turkey. That I was listening to a couple of Pep pre-match interviews, because I just want to get the sense of what he said. Pep's brilliant at playing it down, and this is where we are, and loads of respect for Mikel and all that stuff. And somebody asked him about Ryan Cherky and said, how are you with a bit of the showboating at times, he looks like. And Pep, I thought, was brilliant. He answered brilliantly. He said, but sometimes you have special talents and special players who, he said, you have to accept they're going to be a little bit different. As long as they are part of the team, as long as they work in the same way, have the same ethic, he said, you allow them now and then to be themselves. I thought it was a really, really interesting way that, we often think like Pep's really hard and don't do this. He probably doesn't like some bits of it, and is saying to him, I was with Messi, the best player, one of the best players we've ever had, and he didn't do those things, but do this. And he kind of said, but you still have to give this guy confidence. You still have to put your arm around him. You still have to do things, because he said that this is yesterday. He said he's a game changer. And we saw that today. And I just thought, those little man management bits where I'm sure you don't have to do that with Mark Gay, because Mark Gay is one of those straight up and down guys who, brilliant pro. Yeah. But Cherky's are different, but he's going to win your titles, mate. He's going to win your cups and Champions Leagues.
I mean, we're at the point now with Pep Guardiola, Rob, that anything he says, it's just like, yeah. How can anybody question?
It's Sir Alex kind of...
Same thing. Yeah.
Temperature now.
Anything Sir Alex says, or anything Pep Guardiola says now, he knows 1,000,000% more than anybody else. Yeah. He's had the experience, Rob, different personalities, different characters. He's been doing this a long time now. He knows what it likes to be. He knows what it's like to create and to nurture a winning champion team. And he might be doing it again. And he knows it takes different types. And that would make sense, wouldn't it? That you manage people a little bit differently, given their personalities. And obviously he has a way of getting them. I mean, from Kusanov, who you said, Rob, looked to shambles in his first nervous wreck in his first game, to now looking the part and sticking his chest out and getting involved in the play. I mean, Mark Gahey, Rob, remember, we could talk about every single player, by the way, but I watched him today, Mark Gahey, right? His position, when City have control, he's really, he's a centre-back. Yeah. He's really high. He's almost like in a left-back position in support.
Pushed in,
It's like, wow. And Rodri's behind the ball, Kusanov is, and Mateus Nunes is holding back. So there's a balance there, but it's such a different way of possessing the ball. Gahey was available all the time to keep possession. Yeah. I mean, there aren't many teams that do that. So Pep does all these different things. And again, I don't want to go overboard, because it was such an impressive performance, and their Achilles heel is their defensive side of things. When you got Bernardo Silva, you got Ryan Cherky, you got Doku, you got all these attack-minded players. When their game is on and their passing's crisp and they dominate, absolutely brilliant. But when it isn't, this guy's going to want to defend. So that's still going to be the thing to watch for them going forward.
Should we move to Arsenal, mate? Because the Emirates was our first game of the weekend. It was Arsenal at home. I think everybody knew about it. I talked about, what Mikel Arteta, the roll call. Let's make some noise. We know how big it is. They got into the game, Rob, and didn't really start brilliantly. I thought they looked a bit inhibited, a bit jaded. Although, it's interesting. The stats that we came out said their running stats were higher than Bournemouth. So it's not a lack of energy or running around, but just there's not the smoothness, there's not the cohesion, there's not the combination play. They go down to a bad goal to concede for them, with the best defensive record in the league. Trippier gets the ball across for Krupi to get the first goal. They get back into the game with the penalty that I'm sure Bournemouth wouldn't like, but I think we all understand why that was given. So at 1-1, you think the game's in balance, and then there's a turnover. There's Bournemouth doing what Bournemouth do. Alex Scott breaks from midfield, gets the goal, and then it was like nervous station. It was like, can we get something from the game? And in the end, they weren't quite good enough, mate. And it's a defeat that hurts, and it's a defeat that puts a little bit more pressure, starts the narrative, builds the noise around Arsenal that they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, in some ways, Rob, it's difficult to know where to start with this performance, isn't it, with Arsenal? You know, the team selection, you know, people are playing that haven't played much. Lewis Skelly. Again, I don't know the details of Nketiah, whether these guys... all I would say on the team selection, Rob, and again, I don't know every detail of every story of every player, why they didn't start, but surely now, if you're Mikel Arteta, you've got to prioritise the Premier League like nothing else. Yeah. If the Champions League games is amazing, great. I know that. I know. But make sure your best 11, what you want, is there for the Premier League, because it's the one that the club's focused on. The whole world is watching for Arsenal in the Premier League. If it means you rotate a little bit more in the Champions League, you've got to do it, Rob. They've got to get the best team. That's the first thing to say. Second thing to say is it's remarkable how we used the word a little bit earlier, Rob, and it's a word that I wrote down, inhibited the team looks. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, even if you look at the front players, Madueke, that was tries his little bits and pieces. He was well marked by Truffert on that side. Martinelli, nothing. Yeah. Nothing. No. Looked a shadow. Kai Havertz looked a shadow of himself.
Open play.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Gyökeres, by the way, in this did all right. Yeah. Lee Dixon made brilliant points in commentary, Rob, saying that in of course another Champions League, Premier League winner, Lee Dixon, says everybody do their job, and. You know, Gyökeres, I thought he did his job. Yeah. Did his same job. Held it up quite well, took his penalty well, played all right, had a few chances. But some of the other players, Rob, I just don't get it. They have got worse from way back when. Their football, their ability to possess a ball, again, you can run our podcast back for weeks now where we've said things like, possession's not great, or their penetration's not great, or their creativity's not great. I'll shout out my son, Elliot. I spoke to him on the phone, and he was talking about Arsenal, and he looked up some open goal XG stats. Yeah. Arsenal's open play. Right, so you know what that means, like, but it's like expected goals, anything other than set pieces. They are, in a league table sense, they're 6th right now. Yeah. And Elliot said that they haven't been higher than 6th for the last 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be a Premier League champion, Rob, which basically means that there's set pieces, which we kind of know, but it's interesting to get the numbers behind it. Yeah. They're 6th, and they haven't been higher than 6th for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, for a while. Like, that's got to change. Yeah. And I think that the disappointing thing is, yes, we've enjoyed Arsenal's defensive strength, but you know, this attacking dial that I talk about all the time, you got to turn it up. You got to try and
the big problem, Rob, is that many will say, "Oh, we didn't have Odegaard, we didn't have Saka." They weren't playing particularly well when they were fit, mate. It wasn't that big. They haven't been
playing well. Why aren't they playing well, Rob? Why is it then? I'll ask you. Why are they not? They can't string 4 or 5 passes together in the attacking. They can't dominate a game. Well, they couldn't dominate possession.
To say that the enormity of what is available is affecting their play. I've said their nerves is affecting their football. Yeah. I don't know what quite went on, and it's one of those, Rob. Do you know where you pick some up? We were watching games, and there was 32 minutes on the clock. Zubamendi tried to play a ball into Gyökeres, who wanted it early. Gyökeres had a bit of a go at Zubamendi. Zubamendi kind of went in his shell, was walking all over the pitch. Honestly, if you get 32 minutes in the game, go and have a look at it. Then somebody else has said to me, if you look just before the Gyökeres penalty, there's a shot, and I went and looked at it, and I can't quite find a time code of all the Arsenal players going up to Zubamendi and like hugging him, saying, "Come on," and giving him, some. Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something individual, something where he doesn't feel he's being appreciated, whatever. But it points to the thing of why are we seeing what we're seeing from international footballers who, you know they've not won a title, but they've been second in them times. We've seen the great football, and you talk about Lee Dixon. It will forever stick with me when he says, "Let's wait till April. Let's wait till April, because that's when we'll find out." And maybe this is us finding out.
This is an incredibly interesting test for Mikel Arteta. Yeah. And it is down to him to find a way to relax those players, to relax the players to go and play. Yeah. Again, back to Man City. And I know they're chasing, right? It's always easier to chase than to be chased. But the manager's job now with his light bulbs or his string or whatever his little his pickpocket guy at the dinner table or whatever it is, he's got to find a way to relax the team and to play a little bit and to be a little bit more, take a few more risks going forward. I mean, Rob, like, a lot of people have been saying this, to be fair, right, for quite a few weeks and months on Arsenal, and I've been a bit more, well, they're solid. It's the way that they are. It's not the way they're doing it, and they've got to get over the line. But now it's making me, it's like, wow, are they going to get over the line in their playing their way?
It's a bit, throwing out there. It's a bit pub conversation. But let me just put you in a situation. Pep Guardiola has the Arsenal squad, 6 points clear. Mikel Arteta has the Man City squad, 6 points behind.
I don't know, Rob. It's too difficult. I mean,
what I'm trying to say is, okay, let me just... Would Pep be able to go into Arsenal's dressing room
now?
And based on what you're seeing, and find a way to get the players to play? Because we're saying that's what is required. Their football's not good. Could he get their football? I would agree. That would be my point. I think Pep could go there. So the question is, for me, can Mikel Arteta do the same? Get them over the line?
Well, and is he going to change, Rob? Is he going to keep grinding away, right? Grind at City next weekend. And by the way, we'll talk about that matchup in a second. But or is he gonna change? Because to your question, Pep would go into Arsenal and they'd be front foot. Yeah. The fullbacks would be going forward. Declan Rice would be getting in the box more. I see Arsenal's midfield three flitting around in midfield too much and not breaking the lines, getting forward, adding and helping out Gyökeres as a goal option.
Like a fear.
The wide players, Rob. The wide players of Arsenal are doing nothing at the moment. No. Why? If your wide players are on fire, it changes everything. And Arsenal's wide players haven't been on fire for months. And Saka's had moments. He hasn't been himself. He's out right now, and it's showing. The left side, Trossard's in and out. Your wide players are so important to open everything else up. And if they're being pinned down by fullbacks, not playing well, then it's going to hurt the team bad.
Probably know the answer to this, but there's a 16-year-old in there who's pretty good in the wide players, who plays with a bit of freedom. Could he start?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
is it too big? Is it too much? Or have we got to be careful in terms of what that might do to him as a player?
I don't know. I think it's an interesting decision. I think it could be one of them that could make a big difference.
He'd lift the place as well, wouldn't he? He'd lift the fans as well.
And he'll give the team what they need. Yeah. They need some quality. They're lacking attacking quality, Rob. They just look pretty average. And he would bring that. Now, ideally, he's so young and like you want to play him off the bench and bring him into games. Yeah. But I don't think, I don't think he'll start next weekend, the game against Man City. No. But I mean, after that, quite possibly. That's what they need. They need a little bit of silk. They need Odegaard's got. Yeah. See, it's a funny midfield, Rob, isn't it? Because when Eze plays, he's more of a goal threat, right? But he's less busy to get the team playing, right? When Odegaard plays, they're a bit busier to get get silky and to get playing, but less of a goal threat. I mean, when we watched them, Rob, like 2 years ago, we were live there. Was it 2 years ago? I remember on the sideline saying on our show there, I can't believe how good Arsenal are. Yeah, we were there.
Their football.
The football.
Yeah.
God, it steadily kind of got a little bit more stodgy.
It's got slower, hasn't it? It's got slower.
Just slower and less progressive and creative, and the open goal XG is a pretty damning. That's pretty damning when you're only 6th place in the Premier League table in terms of creating goals or opportunity through open play.
Listen, mate, we've give that a good go. Let's just look forward to next Sunday. Yeah. Manchester City, Arsenal, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on big NBC. I mean, huge game. I mean,
Rob, just let me before we. I got my underappreciated. I forgot in that Arsenal game.
Drop that in before we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should also actually give Bournemouth a little bit of credit, by the way.
Yeah, it was a Bournemouth play, and it's Bournemouth. I mean, I can't tell you how much I enjoy watching Bournemouth. What I think of Earle and the way that they play from the first whistle. By the way, they looked to really they knocked the ball around. They looked a better team, more relaxed in their football. Alex Scott is my guy. Alex Scott is my underappreciated performer. He's probably gone from a one to watch to now. He's kind of really doing it every single week, Rob.
Yeah.
I think he admits himself in his interview afterwards, and I agree. His numbers aren't his attacking numbers aren't as good maybe as what they should be. Because he's a better player than I think. What's he got? Like 3 or 4? He's got 3 or 4 goals or something. He hasn't got many.
His goal really nice though, mate. Just took that.
Yeah, he's got 4 goals. He's got 4 goals, 1 assist. Yeah, but he's a midfield player that can run forward, get into the box. He can do everything. You know, I thought it was going to be like a number 10, but he's playing as a 6 and an 8 all in the same kind of role. So I think he's an excellent player that could absolutely play at a high level.
When you think of all that they've lost, Rob, and then, you know, Semenyo halfway through, he's on 10 goals for them as well. You know, it's an incredible job this guy's done in
it's a recruitment and the manager.
Yeah, you're right there. And I think Alex Scott's a good shout because he's one of those that, you know, it's not on everybody's lips, but it's a good quality
really good player,
midfield player,
really good footballer.
Premier League player. Let's move it forward to the game, mate, at the weekend, because I suppose, as much as anything, I sense this is about the point you were making. Does Arteta go for this, or does Arteta go for the draw? It kind of feels to me, Rob, do you remember like the Steven Gerrard slip time at Chelsea-Liverpool, when Liverpool had to make sure they didn't lose that day? Yeah. And Stevie slipped and they get the goal, and the rest, as they say, is history. Is Mikel Arteta a manager who can let the reins go and let his team have a go at City?
Before I answer that question, how big is this game, Rob? I mean, is this the title decider?
It feels like title decider, really.
It kind of does.
I mean, if Arsenal don't lose, if Arsenal don't lose, they're in good shape.
Yeah, really good shape. Yeah.
If Arsenal lose and City win, I've got to say it's all with, because they got Burnley to play, and then they can crack on.
Yeah, I just think it's that big, and we're at Tampa at our fan fest, mate, and I couldn't be more excited about it to be out there with fans, to feel that atmosphere. It's on big NBC, Rob, isn't it? Did I read it's on big NBC?
11:30
Eastern time
big NBC.
On NBC.
The biggest
Everybody,
game of the season.
Tell your mates, tell your neighbours, tell anybody who doesn't even watch Premier League. They got to tune in for that game, because it's going to be, I tell you, an amazing game. Anyway, back to your question. No, Arteta's not going to change anything, Rob. He's going to go with the same. He's got it at this point. This game, it does call out for you're not going to do anything. Not going to do anything crazy in this game. He's got a strong defence. Nketiah will be back, I would think. I'm not sure whether Timber's going to be okay on the other side there.
The one is he as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's out. But Ben White didn't have a great game, but he's experienced. So I expect a well organised, play on a counter team. I expect nothing different from Arsenal. It's just whether City's football can be as good as it was today.
Yeah,
they'll find a way through.
Help or hindrance, so Rob. Champions League game, Sporting, by the way, midweek for Arsenal. City get a free week now, having done their job against Chelsea.
I refer you back to my answer given about 10 minutes ago, Rob, that Arsenal have got to make changes for the Champions League game. They've got to prioritise and make sure, as best as they can, that the players that he wants are in as good a condition as possible. So if it's
Sunday's game, so you're saying Sunday's game is the
absolutely, absolutely. You know, this is the big one, the big title, the big game, the big challenger. Be in your best fettle, have your best players who you want in as good a condition as possible. You know, it can't be perfect, can't rest everybody, but it's really important. I mean, they couldn't be playing City at a worse time.
No,
it couldn't be. The creativity, the confidence. That being said, Arsenal have got to believe in their defensive strength. They've got to believe in some flair they've got.
Set pieces
they've got to believe in. It's gone a little quiet on the set pieces, but But that's I think the approach, mate. What do you think? Anything different to that?
No, because I think he will be who he is, and the reason why he is where he is. I think I said to you the other week when we were asked, or Rebecca asked me, until those red and white ribbons are on, mate, on the 24th of May, I still can't totally go with Mikel. I'm still not totally believing in that he can get it done. And that will be whether they do it or, once they've done it, okay, he's over the line. Now he's stepped over. But until that happens, there's still got, for me, there's still the doubt.
I'll tell you what, mate. Arsenal could have put this away.
Yeah. They could have been enjoying this time.
They could have put this away, and the longer they've left City in it,
kept the door
they've allowed
open,
City to get better until like smell blood and all that. All these terms that have been used, and all of a sudden now City are playing the best they've looked all season, really. I think, and now Arsenal got to go there. So
I think the problem for me is, from Arsenal's point of view, is that there's certain teams you'd say, 8 games, that's going to be too many. Well, now it's 7 games, going to be too many. We've seen City do this in the past.
Done it in the past, yeah.
They've done it.
Even
can
more
remember?
Than this,
we all can remember City teams have done it against Liverpool and the likes.
Yeah. That being said, mate, I still, who are we going for now?
Yeah, I'm still in the red and white camp. Yeah,
I think I am.
Bizarrely, I'm still in the red and white camp.
Those points on the table.
6 points, yeah.
The way that Arsenal could go there and stink up the place next weekend at the Etihad, whatever, just not lose, puts them in a really good position.
Gary made a really great point when we were talking to him, and he said, in his sort of experience, Arsenal can almost come out of this bad period and come again. There's enough games. It's not 2 games left. There's enough games to sort of have had that little bad patch, maybe, winning the Champions League, get themselves going, beat Man City, and then they still can, go on to it. And I kind of think as an Arsenal player or fan, you've got to believe in that, really.
Yeah, and I do think that is the most likely outcome. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Not much percentage, but I do think that's the most likely outcome. Anything different? That's why this weekend is so amazingly big, because we could very well see a Man City free flowing, Semenyo, Shirky. I mean, all the talent, Doku.
Don't. If any Arsenal fans ain't going to sleep all week, mate, let them have some sleep.
They got to be their very best defensively. They're going to get pulled and stretched around all over, mate. They're going to get asked so many questions. It's whether Arsenal can answer all those questions.
Absolutely. Don't forget Man City Arsenal next Sunday, April 19th, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Big NBC. Let me tell you what's big, my friend.
Everything's
the possibility of Tottenham Hotspur playing in the Championship next season is big.
Oh, boy.
Sunderland 1, Tottenham 0. Roberto Zerbi's first game in charge. Mukiele with a deflected shot that goes in against the Spurs team that we're looking for the bump, the difference, the Zerbi style. We did a great interview with him, didn't we? It was great to have him on, and he talked about mentality, talked about not being given his whole self, talking about giving the players a few things to do with the ball, without the ball, but, you'll see the full Zerbi next season. Did we see enough, Rob? Is there any hope for Spurs fans? I mean, they're rooted in the bottom 3 now.
Sorry to disappoint, but can we start with Sunderland? Can I quickly start with Sunderland?
Yeah, sorry.
I just again was really impressed with Sunderland. Really, really impressed. They're a good team. Well,
I couldn't love them anymore. That's.
I know. They're so strong defensively. They have such a good shape without the ball. In Brian, Robbie, Diarra, and Sadiki, 3 outstanding young midfield players, the powerhouse of this team. And Robbie, the big striker up front, who I know that you love, he roughed up Christian Romero, by the way.
Yeah, he bullied him, didn't he?
He bullied him a little bit, which you've never seen with those 2 centre backs. I just thought they were too good for Spurs, Rob. All right. That being said, they were too good for Spurs. Okay, Tottenham. Wow. Okay, so first off, I kind of liked most of his team selection, right? I think that's the back four that should play. And we'll see how Romero is at to come off, didn't he, with a bad knock. Archie Gray's a good player, played really well. Surprised he came off a little later on, not sure why.
Yeah.
The midfield players was good. I think Gallagher was good alongside him. I just would have been surprised that Palhinha didn't play. Came on, but I would have thought Palhinha in this situation. Again, I don't know how his condition is, and Zerbi did say that he's having to look at people's condition. Bergvall struggraged.
Yeah.
Lucas Bergvall struggled in the number 10.
There, did he? Yeah.
And Koulibaly, Solanke, Richarlison. That's kind of a good front three. I mean, with Simmons.
Yeah,
whenever he's ready or whatever, because I still like him because they need a creative.
I'm a little surprised with him, whether it's fitness or not ready.
So I thought it was back to basics for Zerbi.
Yeah,
I thought early on they looked organised, they looked focused, they looked excited, they looked like they were working really hard. It was ugly, but it was solid.
Yeah,
and for me that was an improvement over the previous manager. The team selection was better, the shape looked better, the excitement of the players looked better. The sad reality is, Robbie Earle, that with the amount of good players that are not available, this team now is average. It's average. And Sunderland are better today. Sunderland are better. When they haven't got their better 3 or 4, 5 players to come into the team, Tottenham.
How can that be, bro? We're talking about a promoted team that have just come out of the Championship and spent money and bought players. Yeah. But you're talking about, the back four he should play. Talking about Gallagher. They played a lot of money for. Archie Gray's been, a little star for them, but it was great. You're talking about Solanke and Richarlison. You paid $73 and $83 million for, but you're telling me that Sunderland are better?
Yeah, well, they were on this day. You talk about a midfield, Rob. I'd rather have Diarra Siddiqui and Granit Xhaka.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but that can't be right then, can it? Because you're saying, if the Madisons or the Kulisaskis and all them,
exactly. There's quite a lot, Rob. There's quite a lot of good players.
But still, the base of Spurs without them should be good enough to.
Well, why isn't it then? I agree, Rob. Why isn't it? No, this is a performance, right? That they're well organised. They've got a good coach. There's every reason to get behind a new manager. So I'm not saying there's a big bump, but there's no reason to not try a leg. Why, with a motivated team, with a good shape, with a fresh ideas from the manager, why do they look average, bang average against Sunderland then? It's got to be the players. They're as good as what people think they are. Maybe Richarlison's not a $70, $80 million guy. Maybe Solanke's is a Bournemouth or he's an average striker. Yeah. I mean, is this where we're going?
Recruitment then, isn't it? Yeah, we're looking at recruitment. And then, this Big Six tag and all the rest, and, Europa League winners is actually, there's teams like Sunderland who could get promoted. Because the problem that Tottenham have, Rob, is, based on what you're saying, there aren't many teams that are going to be worse than Spurs. If that's a team that has to play between now and the end of the season. Well,
we've seen it all too long. They haven't won a game in 2026, Rob. Yeah. Without even, if there's 3 or 4 really good players, that don't have to elevate a team. They're week in, week out. It takes them over the line of winning most weeks and not losing most weeks.
Let me get to the point then. If some of these players, I saw Madison, is in the gym now, and whether he's going to be close, obviously it was a big injury. Kudus, I think, had an issue.
Is another one.
Yeah. Kulusevski's, they've had a bit of thing gone back. So, but based on Rob, that we don't see those guys this season. These 6 more games to go. Based on what you're saying, Spurs are going to be in the Championship.
Well, it's going to be incredibly tight, Rob. And Richarlison, again, I'll go back to Richarlison, can get goals for you. Solanke, in the past has had little runs of goals. Anybody else? I don't know. Koulibaly looks average. Looks average, Rob. Yeah. Xavi Simons. I think Simons can create. Yeah. Now, with their remaining home games, there's some winnable ones there for Tottenham. Yeah, I still think they're going to do it. But there's a 2-point gap now, isn't there? I mean, they haven't won a game. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. And, I feel like, Zerbi said, Rob, to us, like he said, I'm going to give them just a few ideas, a few principles. Yeah. Actually, Roberto, you probably got to do more. I think you've got to try and, because setting them up basically with a good shape, good organisation, good motivation, better mentality in some ways with a new project, if you like. That didn't seem much. All I would say, mate, Sunderland away is a hard first game. Yeah. The atmosphere, the team, the physicality. They don't take any risks at the back. They've got good players in midfield. That's a hard first game.
Okay. What about home to Brighton next week? It doesn't get much easier.
No, because Brighton knock it around.
Yeah, and Brighton's a team that he used to be at, and they didn't leave in a great way, so they might want to put one over on him. And I think every week we can see something. It all of a sudden feels more real to me, Rob, I would say. I think we've all been our Spurs and kind of feeling a bit like it. But I've got to be honest. If I was Zerbi, I'd be a little bit worried.
Particularly with the other teams, Rob.
Yeah, they're all picking up points.
But Forest playing against Aston Villa, Champions League team, and they got a point. West Ham United.
Yeah.
I mean, fair play to West Ham United. Pull it out when they need it. That's the biggest concern as well. I think you're right. When you see, like Rebecca said on the show, Tottenham Hotspur in the bottom three is like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It was 2 seasons ago, Rob, in 2024, they were 5th place in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And there isn't that many players have changed. It's just these injuries that Heung-min Son left. Kane wasn't there, was he, when they finished 5th? He wasn't there when they finished 5th. And they haven't lost a ton of... I mean, it's like, what? You just have to say, it may be injured players, bad selection with managers.
Yeah.
Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
What a mess. What a mess it is. And, I don't know. We'll see what he can do. But they need a jolt. And maybe Sunderland away is a difficult game, and 1-0 was narrow. I thought there was signs, Rob.
Yeah, I thought first half it looked a little bit better.
It did.
Second half that Sunderland looked like they had a little bit more, which was a little bit worrying. Okay, mate, let's get to some of the remaining results. Liverpool got a 2-0 win to Fulham. There was a little bit of pressure on the slot after going out of Champions League as well, but goals from Rio Engamo with a lovely first goal for him, first goal at Anfield, and Mo Salah still reminding us that the old boys got it. Obviously, Andy Robertson played as well after it's been announced that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. It was kind of decent result for Liverpool, just what Slot needed kind of thing. Clean sheet, couple of goals.
Yeah, I think so, Rob. I think it quietens the noise a little bit. There's starting to get a lot of noise around Arne Slot, and rightfully so. It's been a difficult season. This was much better, Rob. Much more energy, much more front foot, much more. You'd expect Liverpool at Anfield, dominating the game, playing the game in the opponent's half. Fulham stretched, hanging on a little bit at times. And Fulham, as we've seen so many times, can go and play and embarrass teams a little bit. This was much better. And I got to say, Rob, Rio Engamoa, his energy on the left-hand side is infectious for the team. It really is.
That was the Downman thing I was trying to think of. Like, Engamoa, he lifted the front line, didn't he?
Lifts everything.
Yeah.
I think if you're playing, we all know that, Rob. It's so infectious watching a player playing with a player. If he's having a great game and the fans are cheering, it absolutely, everybody sort of gets a little bit motivated with it. So I think that was a big difference. And he's quality.
Yeah,
he's quality. He looks dangerous. He looks dangerous. Now, he ain't be able to play every single game. He ain't start every single game. But I tell you what, that's quite the find. You add that into that, the return of Alexander Isak. I know he's had a difficult time, but we know enough about him that he's quality. And I think he looks pretty lively. And Arne Slot said he's had a good physical preparation to come back. He's fit and stronger than he was when he first joined the club. Florian Wirtz continues to frustrate me. I don't know whether he's a really great player or whether he's just a flits around and doesn't do too much, but the numbers say that he does create opportunities, and he was busy again in the game. So there was more. If I don't know, I can't tell the Liverpool fans what to think, but I would suspect that they're a little more encouraged about what they saw in this game. I know it's only one game. I know it's only Fulham. There's been a lot of negative, bad performances, bad reaction, bad criticism, but this was a little better. And for me, I've said it before and I'll say it again now, there's enough mitigating circumstances this year that would tilt me into to trusting him to give him another go, another pre-season, maybe some more signings, because it has been a bit of a rebuild. There's been an incredible amount of change to this Champions that I don't think we've ever seen before, Rob.
Yeah.
To take a sledgehammer to the team, it seemed like, really. I mean, some of it, of course, was forced upon them and unfortunate.
With the injuries,
and stuff.
How do you see them PSG second leg? Because obviously they were 2-0 down from the first leg, and then the derby against Everton. Do you see them getting through Champions League?
No. PSG too good. Too good. PSG and Bayern Munich are the two teams. I watched the Champions League, and those two teams are coming through with amazing attacks. And Liverpool are in a period of transition. rebuilding a little bit, and I don't think they're ready. And we know there's been some remarkable nights at Anfield in the Champions League, but this is one game too many. I just don't see it. But Arne Slot's still under pressure, Rob. He's still, if he does go out, he's still got to finish the season strongly to keep the fans behind him, because the most important.
5 places now in it for those Champions League spots, so
should be okay.
Should be okay based on Chelsea result as well, not going well for them.
Yeah, it's better.
Brentford 2, Everton 2. Two teams trying to get to push to Europe, when maybe at the start of the season that would have been a bit more loftier ambitions than both of them would have thought. Obviously, great job's been done by Keith Andrews and David Moyes. Thiago gets his 20th goal of the season. What a season it's been for him. He gets a brace. Roberto gets one, and Dewsbury Hall with the late equaliser for Everton. I thought it was a pretty even game, actually, and the draw was probably about the right result. Yeah,
two teams, Rob, again, that their fans have got to be delighted with how it's going. You don't often get many teams or clubs that are really happy with the way they're going. These two are just really good stories, aren't they? One, probably the most least experienced manager against the most experienced manager, isn't it? With Moyes and Keith Andrews. And again, the Bees of Bournemouth, Brentford and Brighton, the recruitment just keeps them going great. They sell players, but their recruitment is so good that all the players they sign come into the first team, look really good and are capable of performing and winning games in the Premier League. Everton's turnaround has been remarkable. David Moyes, talk about underappreciated manager probably for decades, possibly. What he's doing now is showing everybody again what a good manager he is, and the way that he does it, Rob, is probably pretty unique. But no, good result, 2 good teams, good game of football. Yeah, happy days.
Forest 1, Villa 1. Forest continues to keep getting points. Every time I see Forest, Rob, Murillo with the own goal and Nico Williams with the goal against a Villa team, obviously, who are in Europe as well. But every time I see Forest, I kind of feel like they look like they're going to be okay. Reasonably well set up. The manager kind of knows what they're doing. They're still sort of down there, and that could be an issue. But I don't know. When I see them, they don't look like they've got the look of a team that are destined to go down.
Well, the only team that does is Tottenham, isn't it? Tottenham Hotspur. They look like a team that's destined to go down. And it's, I agree. The next game we're going to talk about is West Ham United. They win 4-0 at Wolves, Rob. Navrapanos gets a couple of goals. Castellanos gets a couple of goals. And, as often at this time of the season, the teams that really need it are finding it. They're finding ways to win. They're finding ways to score goals. They're super motivated. The stadium, London Stadium, is absolutely buzzing when those goals go in. Yeah. Those two teams are fighting. And I wouldn't say either of them are going to go down. But who's going to go down? Somebody's going to go down. Somebody's got to go down. And when you look at this weekend and you look at the fettle these teams are in, Tottenham look absolutely nailed on. Yeah. But because it's Tottenham Hotspur, we
think different, don't
we? Think differently
and feel different about it. Yeah. Let me tell you, you should feel a little bit different about it. And I'm going to go to my underappreciated performer of the week. And he plays for West Ham United. And he's their captain. He missed a penalty recently in the FA Cup game that stopped him getting through to the semi-final. But continues to take his responsibilities. Jared Bowen, my friend. He's 8 goals, 8 assists. Signed from Hull City in the Championship. I couldn't love any more, mate. A star player. So when you think of West Ham, there's a couple of players that come to mind, and he's right up there, certainly in the top 3. I couldn't love any more a star player who gives it his all, who runs back, who tracks back, who works hard, who has a feeling, is looking to assist, is looking to score, is always looking for the best of his team, and he's an England international, and whether he makes the squad or not, he may just miss out. But often good players in good teams, and I've played in a couple of teams where you've had a couple of players who their talent so much they don't feel like, well, the work I'll do a bit of the work, but there's others who can do my work. Jared Bowen is the first with his sleeves rolled up. He'll do his work, then he'll score your goal, then he'll cross your ball, then he'll play an assist, and I couldn't love that combination of player any more than what I see from Jared Bowen. And one of the reasons why I don't think West Ham will go down, because Jared Bowen won't allow this football club to go down.
Well, that's quite the endorsement, Rob, and I agree. I agree with what he is. Just one thing though, you're talking there, Rob. Can it be the case that being that two-way, right, and that can it hurt a player's reputation and standing if he was a little bit more, if he kept more energy for his attacking side of things, and he was a little more selfish in his attacking play, and he didn't run back at times, just to make. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Rob?
I hear your point.
Does his game, his general attacking performance, get a little bit less? It's not as effective because he does so much work going back the other way.
Maybe so, maybe not. I'll tell you the two things I would say. I say every fan would have him in their team because he's the incredible mix.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think as a player, he would feel unfulfilled not doing the work. I think he wants to do the work and he wants to do the other stuff as well. I think that's who he is. And
Which
that's
is great,
a bit I like about him.
Which is
He's
great.
An absolute
we
manager's
love it.
dream.
Yeah, he's a manager's dream. Yeah.
That's
a good show.
Appreciate performer of the week. Jared Bowen, West Ham captain, involved with a couple of goals in the 4-0 win against Wolves at the weekend. Just wrapping up, mate. Palace 2, Newcastle 1. Asula with the first goal for Newcastle. A little strange. Asula started, mate. Voltemada and Wissa on the bench.
That's what I. Sorry, mate. What is going on there, Rob? What is going on? Well, 2 strikers brought in with the money spent, exact same to replace Alexander Isak, and they're not starting.
There's all sorts. It feels is going on. Mixed messages. Managers saying one thing, staff sort of saying the other. I mean, Mateta comes on, gets a couple of goals to Strandlon's header and a penalty kick.
Brilliant.
Palace, who wasn't the strongest Palace team, to be honest, because I think they've got their eyes on Europe, but just heaps a little bit of pressure on Eddie Howe now. And there's a few noises starting to come out of St James's Park, and he won the League Cup. The statue will be there at some point. I mean, he I think he was given freedom of the city and all that, but things turn quickly in football.
Yeah, not for me, mate. This guy he's not the problem. He's not going to be the problem at Newcastle United. The players that are signed, obviously, 2 players that are brought in. I don't know, in the days of sporting directors, who has most influence? I don't know. Maybe Eddie Howe wanted these guys. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. He's not playing them, which is remarkable to me. But it won't be because of him. The way that the team is, some of the players performing, the recruitment that's happened, they've dropped off. And ultimately, it always goes back to the manager. But Eddie Howe is such a good manager in all aspects of the job. Sometimes the manager is the guy. Just imagine this, Rob, that he gets fired, right? Somebody else goes in. Are they going to get more out of this squad than Eddie Howe? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're going to rally everybody and the emotion.
It's going to have to be a certain type of certain personality.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to do better than Eddie Howe. Yeah, I don't know who's going to do better than him.
I'd agree, but we'll have to wait and see how that one all plays out. And one more result for us from Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Brighton 2. Max FIFA with a couple of goals from right back for Brighton, getting all 3 points.
Yeah, they're playing well. Playing well, Brighton. Finishing well. Finishing strong.
3 straight wins for Herzl and his team. Yeah, finishing in decent style. Listen, mate, that's it for another dramatic week. I mean, we are all set up for some final in this Premier League. It feels like there's a big shift at the top of the table. Arsenal lose at home, Man City win away, and the gap's cut to 6 points with a massive game now set up for next Sunday. Also, Spurs, they're rooted to the bottom 3 with Zerbi failing to get that new manager bump or failing to get the first win for Tottenham in 2026. We'll be back next weekend, that's Sunday, April the 19th, to recap match week 33 and that huge game as Man City take on Arsenal. And we're going to be in Tampa for the FanFest, so look out for that. And we're hoping to do a live edition of the Two Robbies podcast from our set. Well, for now, I'm Earle, he's Mustoe, together with the Two Robbies. Thanks for watching and listening. Be safe, stay healthy. We'll see you in Tampa. It's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.